Okay, I think we are live. I hope we are live.
I
If
feel it. I see the red.
okay, if y'all can't see me, then please send me a text message. Um, all is one reflections. I am Priestess Omoshule. I am the goddaughter of the Reverend Priestess Oshun Funke Iyanifa, and I am also a staff member at the Orisha Hoodoo Institute. And today we are going to talk about what about your friends? Okay. And so I had this brilliant idea. If I'm talking about what about your friends, how about I bring a friend on? And I am joined by the lovely S. Chesley, Stephen. Welcome, welcome.
Hello, hey friend. Happy Saturday.
I'm so glad that you're here, friend.
Your skin looking glistening. You're looking
You
like
you know,
ancestral wealth. It's
oh, you
shining.
know,
Not a
let
blemish
me
in
tell
sight.
you. I'll take it and receive it. I say
Receive it. Receive
amen.
it.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh,
oh, I'm so
friend,
happy
you
to
look
see
so great.
you.
Okay, thank you for joining me.
Of
Okay.
course, anytime.
I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so happy that you agreed to do this with me. So a little background. Stephen and I have been friends for
Since
it's
2006.
so we're coming to maybe like so we'll be 20
We'll
years
hit
or so.
we'll hit 20 years in a couple. So
Yeah.
we on
So
like 17.
17, James 150, got your luck. Got it,
Mm,
got it.
mm, mm, mm,
Okay.
mm.
So Steve and I have been friends since 2006. We met at Howard University. Um, we
Hate
are
you.
both, you know, we were communication majors. I was print journalism. You were
Audio production.
audio
Yep, yep,
production.
yep.
I knew it was somewhere like that. And so we had a freshman orientation cookout,
The School of Sea Barbecue.
the barbecue, yeah. And I remember us sitting on the floor, and I'm asking, we're getting to know each other, and you introduce yourself or something, I don't know.
I
And
know I'm trying to remember the start of the conversation and I don't remember.
I think I think Curtis might have been the nucleus of that because I remember Curtis being there, Chuck being there. So
Shout out
can
Chuck.
you tell me that that you're from the DMV, Maryland? Can I say that? Yeah. If a Harley home, but ever repping. This is
Always.
okay.
Always, except next weekend, because I will be home next weekend. Amen.
I can't wait to
Yes.
see you.
Yes.
I am so very excited about that too. I hope y'all gonna have some crabs. I hope you have some crabs.
You
Also,
already
too,
know.
we have story for days, but I'm kind of going off on a tangent. But Steven is also he was the first person to teach me how to properly eat Maryland blue crabs. Okay, because I was eating, I was cutting my hands. Old Bay was getting all of my fingers and stuff, and I was like, "What is going on? It's too
It's
much."
that old bay that's the salt in the womb once you really get in there. Yeah.
Let me tell you, the ancestors was like, let me give you a little taste of what we went through. Okay. And then I was eating like things that I wasn't supposed to be eating. What was it like? The spongy type of thing.
The lungs. Well, not the. Yeah, some people like that though. Like,
I was eating the mustard. I don't want the mustard. I don't want any of that.
don't be
Okay.
at the family reunion. Like, there's not going to be anything left but the shell because there's people that will eat every daggone thing in there. Not my jam, but not
Not my
anybody's
ministry.
yum.
Not my
Very.
ministry. Not my ministry. And I am forever grateful for many things, but that is one. Okay, because I could step into any room and in the DMV and be like, okay, crabs, what's up? Okay.
Come on, come on.
Okay, and I love that. I love you for that, friend.
I
Um,
love you,
so
friend.
yeah, so we met at undergrad. Um, Stephen has known me way before I am who I am now. We grow,
Mm.
we transition, and I wanted you to be here because you have seen my transition. And I know that sometimes a lot of us who are in the profession of healing, priestessing, whatever that may look like for you, especially for me in the spiritual aspect, um, as we evolve, I've noticed that people tend to drop off, friends tend to drop off, things happen, people stay this, things have, life happens, but you are one of my consistent friends, okay? And
I
so,
feel just as blessed though. I feel like some friends are seasons friends, and that's okay. But I think as you evolve, some people evolve together, and your growth. I will say this: I have to interrupt. The light that you carry now has always been there. I feel like you're shining it in a different way. So
uh,
I
thank you,
received that.
thank you, friend. Thank you. Because let me tell you, okay, those that you're gonna get all of Mel, okay, the good, bad, the ugly, if you are my friend, okay.
Period.
And you have seen me in carryouts and
Oh, the daddy man.
not
I
being the
don't know
best
why.
not being the best reflection. But I also feel like too, all is one, those that are coming in, Omisika, hey Egbe, Destiny, Javon, Laureen. See, this is what I'm talking about. Families all up in here. Okay,
Ah, hey, sister.
spiritual family and family and family. Okay, I love this. So yeah, so let's jump into this, okay? Because we'll go off on a tangent like we always do. So we met 2006. All right, so tell me, was your what is your spiritual practice or religious practice right now? Do you identify with one?
I do. I mean, I was raised Catholic. I don't identify with Catholicism anymore. I would still consider myself Christian, but I don't have a church home in LA. If you live in LA, you know that journey of that process of finding one. But I think for me, it's as I've gotten older, I realize everyone's walk is different. And for me, like my way in with God and the divine was music. So that's a big part of my practice with singing and prayer and worship. And then also I've been praying a lot more lately in the mornings, been talking to God in the mornings. And when I arise, like being thankful, and not even just for myself, I've been praying for people consistently because sometimes when you tell somebody like, oh, I'm gonna pray for you, I'm gonna add you to the prayer list. I've been trying to be more intentional with the follow through because there's a lot of power in the tongue, and I think consistently talking to your ancestors, like making it a part of your schedule. So I've been trying to focus more on that, like disciplined prayer, meditative thinking. I'm not where I want to be yet, but
Mhm.
I am working on it.
Okay, amen, Ashe. So I will say, one, I am so glad that you have some sort of morning spiritual regimen because those that are in the coven, before our feet touch the ground, we are doing what we have to do. And I think it's so important because it's the foundation for your day. Um, my life be chaotic, just because it's chaotic. But I do appreciate having that little moments in between the alarms to be able to, say my prayers, set the intention for today, for the day, ask for protection because that I'm in a city that is a very hectic and can be in a very aggressive city. So I like to, set that foundation. Um, I did I know that I don't know if I knew that you grew up in Catholicism, but
Yeah,
so I know your mom was in it, but I didn't know that you grew up in it. So, okay, that makes sense.
both my parents. And it's funny because I remember some people are like, oh, I didn't know there were black people that were Catholic. And in the DC area, it's like it's a million black Catholic churches in DC. I mean, it used to be Chocolate City. It is still somewhat. It's a lot
Latte,
lighter.
it's a
It's a
little
lot
bit.
lighter now. But
Mhm.
yes, shout out Nativity on Georgia Avenue is the church home that I grew up in, and then also St. Matthias by my dad's in PG. But yeah, that was for me. It was a I'm very grateful to because it was my introduction into a language for faith. It taught me how to pray. It gave me an appreciation for certain ritual aspects and elements. There's so many things that are beautiful about the Catholic Church. Um, but the fire and brimstone and some of the rules and their take
Mhm.
on homosexuality, because shout out to the kids, that's where I stay.
Mhm.
Um, even their stance on
Thank you, kids.
divorce. Yeah, like there were so many things about it that I think were not gonna align with my identity and my personal walk spiritually. So I will still go sometimes with my mom when I'm home visiting, especially because she still sings in the gospel choir there. And again, that's my way in. That's how I show love and reverence. And it's also been a bond between me and my mom, music there. So yeah, I have love from a distance.
Okay,
For
sorry,
Catholicism.
not to interrupt you, but
Please interrupt.
you said this two times, and I did a video with Maurice, and I was talking about how all my friends are so musically inclined and blessed, and I'm just like croaking, right? It's okay because
You're not croaking.
the crow's gonna get the messages to what it needs to go,
No,
okay?
not a
But
crow.
Steven is one of my musically blessed friends. I wish, and to this day, that just even with production, that project that you put out. First of all, I would have been stuck at the vocals, okay? But just your artistic creativity, and Maurice and I, we're always talking about, like we talked about in the video, being creatively blocked. And every time I talk to you, it's like, oh, I'm working on a project. And every time it's like, I'm working on it. And it's always something so musically that you're blessing people with. And so I just want to say you are also one of my musically blessed friends. And I just need to love up on y'all because it hasn't rubbed off yet. Okay. I need it.
It will, but I think also you and Maurice, not to go into astrology. I don't know. I know we can go on tangents, but I feel like that Virgo perfectionism in y'all is like sometimes I don't even know if you're blocked as much as you're like, well, this needs to be perfect, and so if I can't get it exactly the way I see it in my mind, I don't want to do it at all. And but that thinking, you can execute it in reality the way that you're envisioning here and here. I think sometimes it's just about telling the story, and you can worry about perfection and technique once it's out of you. But you gotta, like, in order to get a final draft, you gotta start with the rough one.
Yeah, that is true. And I'm learning that you have to be obedient, and I
Mm.
was, how I always say, I want to see A through Z, the ancestors. I used to be like that, but now I am Priestess Almost Shule. So I am being obedient because obedient is better than sacrifice, okay?
Mm.
So yeah, you need to we need to talk, okay? Because obedience is better than sacrifice. But
Mm.
before, the ancestors, even Marie be like, okay, do X, Y, Z, take this first step. And I'm like, okay, I can only see A through B, but you're not showing me Z. And so I always say, spirit has a bird eye view. They see everything that we don't, can't even see. And sometimes, not sometimes, all the time, all we have to do is just take that step. Once you take that step, the ancestors going to be on your left, right, front, back, and they're going to make sure it happens. Your Ori is going to give you the clarity that you need so you can operate in wisdom and not in an aspect of fear. So something that I have been learning in all my Virgo tendencies is that, you have to just take the first step.
Mm.
And that's how you stay creatively blocked, because you're trying to see A through Z when spirit is saying, take that step, sis. You see A through A and B, but guess what? It's the unimaginable, that's through C through Z that you
Mm.
can't even see, but you blocking your blessings. And then because you blocking your blessings, guess what, sis? You're gonna stay in this bitch ass job that you don't like. Okay, you're gonna
Mm.
sit at the computer and be hunchback all the time because you're sitting at the
Woo.
computer all day. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna live paycheck to paycheck because I told your ass to be obedient and just do it. So let me not go on a tangent like we always do. So
Mm.
with creativity, I'm learning to be more obedient and just step out there. So
Yeah.
yeah, the hunchback. You be out. You Let me tell you, you be out there looking like the hump. What's the name? Quasimodo, Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Yes, I just watched that movie not long
So
ago.
you want me to give you some coffee? You want some coffee? Okay, no, that is not my ministry.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, and spirit was like, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable at this workplace. You're gonna be uncomfortable. There's gonna be chaos in your life. until you do what I say. So
But
I
that
have
recognition, that to me, I think that recognition is important. Like I think you can get used to feeling bad and used to being like, oh, well, this is the routine I'm in. This is the life I deserve. At least I have a job. Let me be grateful. But when your body is telling you, oh, my back hurts. Oh, I'm getting headaches. Oh, when you feel out of alignment and you don't listen to that feeling and you just stay on the path that you're on and don't make it, like, you can't expect a change if you don't change something. Like,
Mhm.
you can't just keep doing the same thing and expect a blessing to come when you haven't done any work or done any detours that you needed. Like, I started a new job in January, and I was just, as you were talking, I was just realizing that my great aunt had passed the October before I started the new job in January. And I had been trying to leave this job for so long. And then this opportunity came along, and I just was thinking about her spirit of joy and the way that she always loved on me and encouraged me. And instead of getting caught up in, well, oh, I don't know about this new job, or I don't know if it's going to be the right move. You know what you know, and I think sometimes practical thinking can get in the way of an idea or something that's birthed up here or in here. You're just thinking about all these other ways of how you can practically achieve that thing. How is the paycheck going to translate? Or, how are you going to find that job that's going to give you what you need? But I think if you take the first step based on that idea, I don't know. I've learned a lot this year about listening to your body and listening to yourself, and it has made a difference these past 6 months.
Amen, I say, and we be up in the group chat going in and stuff,
Look.
uh, we be going in. Okay, sometimes I just be like, let me tell you what they did in the workplace. Okay, and so and that is true. When your body is out of alignment, like Ia said, very true. Even your body will respond to tell you to align. Let me tell you one day. So we going off on a tangent because I have questions too, but so remember when I used to work at the hospital, the mental health hospital?
Yes, I
Okay.
do.
Your face says it all, right?
Yes, I
And
do.
and I remember my old boss would be like, you're a healer, and you should do social work, and so I was like, okay, she's confirming, social work and mental health was where I'm supposed to be, right? I hated it, no disrespect to, those who do it, because caps off to educators and mental health professionals, and cap off to y'all, because let me tell you,
The
ain't
patience.
nothing like a bad kid and someone that has, real like mental health, like
Yeah.
about that deep stuff. So it was too much for me. And so I felt, I was like, okay, well, let me do this, let me rack up on student loan debt, and, let me go to graduate school. And when I went to social work school, and I was like, this is not for me. Like, and I remember just asking God, like, is this what life is supposed to be? Is this all that it is? And we talk about it. We talk about long suffering, how I don't believe in long suffering, because that's something that I feel that the slave masters have beat into the slaves. Oh, you're gonna be down here, I'm gonna whoop your ass, you're gonna be a slave, you're gonna have a miserable life. But guess what? If you're obedient, you're gonna go into heaven, and and then live your rest of your days. And I'm like, that's not in the year of our Lord 2023. And
We rebuke it.
Our Lord Barack Obama, okay. 2023, I'm not doing no long suffering. And so I had to, through time and through prayer, and this is before I even, stepped into it wasn't until I stepped into ATR that what I realized a healer and is, it's different. You don't have to be cursed out every day and beat upon and have to deal with the harshness of drugs, the inner city. You're going to serve in your own way back to the community, but that was not my ministry. Okay. Dealing with bed bugs and scabies and all this relapses and stuff, so my hat's out to you. And so, once I became in alignment with ATR, things started to be revealed to me. Then I, started to realize, well, what is a Ori? Like, what is that? And ancestors, what is, first of all, ancestor veneration was just so foreign to me. You know, we didn't dare speak that. So to go back, I grew up in a Christian household, you know, Baptist when I was in New York. When I did my stint in South Carolina, we was United Methodist. Okay, I ain't gonna lie to you. That's how I went to South Africa. That's how they gave me scholarships and everything. So, you know, shout out.
It's a lot of great church organizations.
A lot of great churches,
not knocking that.
You know, but you know, they helped me financially, but it wasn't where I'm supposed to be at this moment. You know, it's not where I was supposed to be. Yeah. And so I grew up in a Christian household. You know, you didn't dare talk about tarot cards. You know, you didn't dare talk about voodoo, any of that. You know, it's just they was just all witchcraft. We didn't even know what ancestral veneration was. We knew that, you know, my mother had her ancestors on the wall, but that was just about it. You know, and so it wasn't as deep as, you know, it is. You know, it's very surface level. You know, so you know. Let me not get into it because I was about to say a lot of them practicing, you know, but let's stay on topic. So, all right. So my next question, this is everywhere, but this is how life be everywhere. This is how conversations be everywhere.
This is what it is. This is
so you answered my follow-up question, which was, what do you identify as now, your spiritual practice, you know, and then what you grew up. You say you grew up in Catholicism. I grew up, you know, United Methodist. I practice Ifa, you know, ATR. You know, this has been life-changing. But my family, and I don't know who Hey Sister is, but it's one of my sisters. Hey sister, I love you. So hey, it's either Kayla or Toy. Hey Kayla or Toy. But so speaking of, my sisters are devout Christians. My sister Kayla is, okay. My sister Kayla, she gonna pull out a scripture. She gonna tell you, you know, and she's always, like I said, we grew up this way. I remember when stuff was happening at Howard, that was like the trenches. And she's like, well, you know, God said, and I'm like, and you know, and let me tell y'all, God, let me just tell you how the ancestors, even though the ancestors, I didn't even know what ancestral veneration was back in circa 2006 to 2010. I didn't really know until 2020, if we're going to be for real. Hey, Toy. Let me tell you how the ancestors, you are your ancestors' wildest dream, because you know, the ancestors was like, you ain't gonna fuck this up for me, okay? Because at Howard, there was those that know me know that I am very, I was very, you know, male. And so I almost got kicked out twice, okay? And it is not something that I'm bragging about, but through the grace of the ancestors, Olodumare, you know, they were like, you're gonna sit your ass down somewhere, get this education, stack up this own debt that you ain't gonna pay anyway. And hello, okay. And so I was able to stay, you know, matriculate through, but you know, life is life. So in 2006, I didn't know what ancestral veneration was. I just knew that, you know, my life was, I was depressed. I was, you know, I grew up in survival mode, and I took that shit to college, and I was in survival mode. And something I always admired about you two, Frank, is that we were in survival mode, and you know who we would come to your room, and you'd be like, "Oh, you want a sandwich? I got some mustard cheese." So every time I see mustard cheese, okay, I might be saying it wrong, I think about you.
Mustard, yeah.
You lived in the DMV, you know. And my mom was like, don't expect me to come up and down this road, okay? And she did not come up and down the road. But you were always just so loving. I'd be like, and I would always come to your room, be like, what you got to eat today? And you would always be like, oh, I got this, I got that. And you were just always so willing, you know.
I think that is from family too, though. Like even like you said, we don't know what we consider certain practices. We have names for them now, or didn't understand ancestor veneration and things like that. There were altars around the house. When you have those tables and you have your great aunts and your grandparents and all these people in this one spot, and it's angled up in a specific shape, and we don't, like, there are certain traditions I feel like that we have that we don't always know the origins of, but we do them. And then when we have a name for them, or we have our members of our tribe that explore why we do these things, you want to condemn them and call it devil worship and witchcraft and
That's
all
where
these.
you
And
my
it's like
friend.
that's where I check out. I'm like, each one teach one. Like we all, I eat, you eat. You know,
Okay. Okay, friend.
I eat you.
Okay.
That's what it is. Like,
okay, so since you go in there, I had a list of questions and stuff in my Virgo mind that was going to be organized and structured, but that's not how we really work, right? We don't work like you and I, our friendship, we don't, okay?
I'm a double Pisces.
So,
I swim in the waters now. I do.
I'm
down. You leave. I'm down wherever.
No, because I like this, okay? So now we're talking about, spiritual evolution and friendships, okay? So I've known you for 17 years. When I was heavy into the church. And then I know you probably seen me, move away you have seen me move away from church into now. And I remember, in our group chats, first of all, I remember distinctly when I came across a video of Black Spectrum Network. I don't even know how that even I know it was the ancestors, right? Because they say when the students are ready, the teacher will come, right? And so Iya and Hugan, they were doing a sophisticated Sunday, and they were talking about ancestor veneration. I was like, oh, what is this? And I remember going into our group chat and it was like, let me tell you about what I just seen, this video. And I was talking about Iya, and I was like, I need to get into mentorship. And at that time, I ain't have no job. And I got into mentorship, but that was like 2020 when I ain't had no job, nowhere to live, child, okay? Keeping my head above water, making a way when you can. Temporary
layoffs.
Okay. And so, but I just remember just feeling so like a spark, like, okay, like, I don't know what this is, but it feels good. And I remember I set up a little altar. And then I set up an altar, and then I got evicted from my place. And I was like, hold up now. Yeah, I thought y'all was supposed to come through up in here. I got an altar up here and everything. Okay. And I got evicted. Okay.
It's a process.
And I remember saying, like, is this what it's supposed to be? But, blessings do not look how we want it, because, it's no secret, Gerard came through and came as a friend. He came, and I moved in with my best friend. I tell the story to anybody who will listen, okay? Because friends are hard to come by. I will say, like, good friends are hard to come by, right? Mm-hmm. And so, like you said, friends are here for seasons and things like that and reasons. And but like the friends that I am friends with, like, y'all, first of all, for those that don't know, I'm very picky about who I'm gonna be friends with. Okay. And I used to be like, oh, that's my Ori saying, girl, stay away from her, girl. Do you not know we don't really fuck with her? She gonna stab you in the back. Okay. She gonna bring some dark magic around you. Now you walk around talking about you seeing dead spirits and all this other stuff. Like, stay away from her. So now I know it's Ori, right? But once I rock with you, I rock with you. Okay. So there are my main core of friends have been very open and open-minded and respectful about my transition into Ifa, into ATR from the Christian church. I just posted something on Facebook because Gerard was over here and he was like, well, what time are you going to be up? And I'm like, I stay up to 2:00. And he was like, yeah, because you're up here doing spells and shit. Which is true, okay? Because I feel like when these spirit is more loud, and those are the witching hours, okay? And there's no rest for the weary. So for me, that's when Abijah down, I can really focus on what it is I need to do. And so I said to Gerard, I was like, you probably think I'm crazy. He was like, no, because it works. And I was like, boom, that's all I need to know. So what was your experience as a friend? By this time, we were friends for 14 years, and you have seen me. I'm going to South Africa. I'm going to First Baptist Church doing this discipleship, because I did the 18-month discipleship. I was ready, okay?
Yeah.
I was waiting for my Boaz and everything.
Oh, I remember those group chat days. You know,
That's part of a long suffering too. I shall not.
yeah,
What was your
it
experience?
didn't there was no, I don't really remember feeling like there was a hurdle or anything for me to get across, because I feel like I could see you elevating, and there was a joy when you spoke about this spiritual awakening of sorts. And I think for me, because the way I look at spirituality and religion, I in my mind, it's not a perfect metaphor, but it is kind of the way I think about religion and different faiths, as like different languages that express the same thing. There's lots of similar elements and truths that happen about sacrifice and love and compassion and empathy and darkness and evil and light. And I think it's about how you use these tools and where you're pulling from in these tools, and how you are addressing your ancestors living and gone. And I feel like I don't know, it's just I've seen it just be such a positive impact in your life and Abijah's. And so it just felt like the only option was to egg you on and support you and show you love, because it just, I don't know, to see, like, I'm looking at priestess on your name on this chat, and I don't know, I just feel so much pride for how you've grown and where you've grown to. And even the way you've always told us stories and given advice or even shared your experience, because I know we talk about the college days and fights and times and things like that. We're not gonna get into it, but you are very justice driven, and I think to see that spirit of justice that lives within you, to see you use that in a way to uplift not only yourself but people around you, whether it's even doing readings for us on a random time, just like you got a message that you pass along. I've seen it be nothing but a blessing in your life and in mine, Maurice's, your other friends. So it's like, I don't know, it just, there never felt, I never had a moment where I was like, oh, I don't know what she on. It was like, oh, this is new, and I love this for you. Because also, I think sometimes if you think about what works for you or what works for your spiritual practice, and somebody's doing something different, and you like, well, I don't get why they doing that. Maybe you're not meant to get why they're doing that,
Mm-hmm.
because we all have common ancestors, but there's not the same. Maybe there's somebody in her line that's giving her a message that is not meant for you. It's meant for her, and she's the one that is able to translate it and pass it along for a community in a way that is going to uplift us all. I think we are all divinely appointed to do something, and it's not the same thing, and it might not be in the same way. And I think you need to let people tap in when they are there. And I feel like once you started tapping in, and it didn't feel like a change as much as like you becoming more yourself, like you getting to a root, or like moving along a path where you naturally were meant to be.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yes, it was different. Yes, there's changes. And yes, we had questions. Like, it's like, for a second, you said ATR earlier, and I was like, what does that stand for?
Oh,
But
I'm
I
sorry.
think,
African traditional religion.
period.
Sorry.
Love it.
Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Yeah, because I'm up here just like, I don't think I've
No.
ever said like ATR with you or Maurice either. So, and then so also let's back up, because I feel you know, I was very heavy into the church, and Maurice, I know he doesn't care about us saying it, but Maurice was the one that was doing tarot and things like that, and he was doing, and we talking about, this is, I feel like before Abijah was born, or right when.
Yeah.
So we're talking about like 11, 10 years, 11, 10 years.
2016, he did a tarot reading that for me back when he visited. He was I think he was visiting LA. And again, not to get on a tangent, but this is how we do. This is real short. But he did a reading for me, and I remember being so scared because he knew me so well as a friend. I was like, I don't know what he's gonna see. And again, it just would never cross my mind that other ways of connecting spiritually are something harmful. Like, I think that's when the spirit of discernment is important, and you need to check in with, I feel like instinct and intuition are very different things. I was hearing someone talk about the difference between a gut reaction, or a gut reaction or something internal that tells you, okay, this might not be the space where you need to go, versus fear-based thinking. and moving from a place of like, I don't know, that sounds so different and new. And it's like, that shit might be different and new, and it might not be for you, or it might be. But if you're closed off to a lesson from a dear friend on their journey, I mean, I don't really know how you move forward in that way. And maybe I feel like those are the season's friends, when you can't get past a certain thing because you can't allow your mind or your spirit to get past your own thinking of man that is rooted in earthly shit. I don't know. That's beyond me. Like you might have to talk to a therapist or somebody about that. Like that's not my place to handle. But I'm sorry, not to get on the tangent.
No, because you're saying everything. Okay, I want you to keep going. Okay, so let's talk about friends that fall off. So I remember when I was moving away from the church, I had this friend, who I'm talking about. Well, this colleague, first of all, your colleagues ain't your friend. Y'all just bonding off of not liking the job that y'all in. Okay, because once they get a new job or you get a new job, let's see how much y'all be together. Okay,
Big facts.
Okay, so a colleague, and so she was a very heavy into Christianity. I used to be her wing person, y'all. We used to go to Friday nights, single nights, and I used to be her wing person, and I'd be like, I don't know about this. Okay, this ain't, this is when I was moving away from, the church, and I just was calling myself spiritual at that point. I'm spiritual. I'm not a Christian. I'm spiritual. And so, we used to go on Friday nights to look for our Boazes, and the Boaz. I don't know. She's no longer a friend of mine. Okay, so I don't know if she found her Boaz, but when I started getting into like spirituality and using crystals and things of that sort, I was real excited. Okay, I was like, girl, let me tell you about these crystals. And homegirl, she shut me down. She was like, what are these crystals? Like, that the Bible says. She started saying all the stuff about the Bible, girl. And I was like, I think it was the ancestors telling me shut the fuck up, because I was like, if we're going to put the Bible in it, let's just bring out all the books and what does it say? Okay, you can't pick and choose what you want to do. Okay, and if you really know your Bible, then you know what the Bible says. Anyway, sorry. So
here for it.
Okay, because we had this conversation in the group chats anyway. But anyway. So I noticed a certain change with her, right? And so I would, this was my clairaudience, where like I was starting to hear spirit, right? And so I'm like, at first I thought I was going crazy. I was like, but this is also the time that I was praying to God, and was like, this can't be life. This gotta be more than life. Okay. Like, what is going on? Okay. And so I was starting to hear like spirit more clearly, and I would like tell her, these things. But I didn't have a religion to identify, right? Because we had another friend who was very, I guess she would call herself a prophet, right? Prophet, clairaudience, you hear whatever, tomato, right? Okay, you still getting divine messages from spirit, right? So I might say, I hear, I'm clairaudience, and you saying, well, I'm a prophet, because it's the same difference. But, so I have a friend that did one of those, God told me. And I believe everything that she said, because it's true. So she gave me a message from God, but the homegirl, the other friend, she was accepting of it. Yeah, because God said. But then when I would say spirit said, she'd be like, I don't know, right? So she started acting funny. Let me tell y'all, this girl ghosts me. Okay, I'm really the ghoster. I do the ghoster. Okay. And I was like, I am the ghoster. Y'all know I wake up one day and be like, this friendship ain't working out.
She was like, it ain't nothing that cut. I was like, you don't talk to such. She was like, no. I was like, all right. Well,
yeah, I'm very good at like cutting people out. Okay.
Got it.
Like, that's okay. That's what because usually in my mind, I've already like molded over and was like, okay, we've already had this conversation 5 times, you still being a bitch ass friend. Like,
your boundaries.
Yeah, exactly, right. And so she ghosted me, and I was like, okay. At that time, I was feeling some sort of way, and I remember telling you about her. And I was like, dang, all because I'm not a Christian.
Mm.
Um, it's exactly spirit. Doesn't they say spirit? Who one of my Bible scholars? How many times is the word spirit in the Bible? For those
Peace be with you and with
for
your
those
spirit.
who for those who might know, right? And so and I felt some sort of way because first of all, I ain't really fuck with her like that in the beginning, right? My
Mm.
Ori was already seeing the bitch assness and the hypocrisy and all of that, right? So Ori was probably like, girl, but you know how people they weasel their way into my life and stuff because I'm so fabulous. And so we were like, really, and so I ain't gonna go too hard on her because she has introduced me to the lipstick that I'm wearing now that I will always wear, Ruby Woo. Okay.
Listen, a blessing can come from lots of places.
Okay, let me tell you. Okay, you can two different things can be the same in one.
Period.
Okay. So but now I realize that it was meant to be. It really was meant to be. And so I don't cry over spilled milk. An example, I have a friend of over 10 years that has distanced themselves from me because I practice Ifa. Like that is just what it is. And we met in a Christian setting, but I was probably the most unorthodox Christian that y'all have ever laid eyes on. Y'all be like, "You sure you're a Christian?" Back in the day, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm a Christian." Christian comes in all forms. Okay. And so, but I was always male around, like I've never changed. And so, an example, when I had my housewarming party, the Christmas party, I said that prayer. I think the language that I use, Olodumare instead of God, the ancestors, Igungun, I think it was like, it kind of scared them, whatever. It was like, oh, I can't really, I can't mess with this. And so we're not friends no more. We're not friends. But you know what? I don't give a fuck. Okay. I'm in alignment. Okay. What do you think? Like I said, do you really think I'm gonna jeopardize being in alignment, in alignment with my destiny because you want me to identify with another religion? Then guess what, motherfucker? You're not my friend. You are not my friend. And then spirits like, get these weirdos out of here anyway. Get these Bible toting Christians and stuff. At least with my sister, I can tell when I do too much with her, it might be a little too much because I'd be like, well, the ancestors said, or if I start maybe, saying a little bit too much Orisha vernacular to her, then she's like, she get real quiet and stuff, right? But my sister's never been like, girl, I don't know about, she's been more like welcoming. But one thing that I have realized is that if you are a priestess, I'm just going to speak for myself. And you have people who are very like traditional. I mean, I don't want to say traditional, follow Christianity, there's a high possibility that people are going to think that you do witchcraft and other stupid stuff that's inaccurate, and people are going to start phasing out. They're going to be vocal and be like, I can't believe you're practicing this stuff. That's out of alignment. That's not of God. The devil's going to get you and all this other things like that. But when without a shadow of doubt that this is your destiny and this is what you're supposed to do, then everything else, fuck everything else. Like, and quite honestly, forget your friendship. I'm gonna cherish the memories that we had, and I'm not gonna go in on you, but I'm gonna look at you funny and I'm gonna be thinking like, dang, Priestess Omoshula, you really aligned yourself with someone like that. But you know what? They out of alignment, so they got to get out of my alignment. Okay, so but one thing that I have learned is that when you are in alignment, whether it's with a spiritual practice, religious choice, even just in life, where you are in alignment and then you see how, your life, how your life can be beautiful. Yeah, you can still have challenges and stuff, but you know what? You have the knowledge, the understanding, and the wisdom to apply what you've been learning to your life, right? And so I know for me, and I'm just gonna speak for me. Once I've got that, it's like a little piece of crack, it's what I hear crackheads might say, right? It's like crack. Being alignment is like a little crack. When you get a little taste, you're like, this is what alignment feels like, especially for me, because I've always been in survival mode from the womb to we're gonna talk about 3 years ago. I've always been in like survival mode, and we talking about like we going to war type shit, okay? But when I started to be in alignment, and then when those balls were being thrown at me, and I was hitting them motherfuckers out the park, because when you realize, you are out of alignment when you worry. I'm gonna pray to my ancestors. I'm gonna pray to the spirits that walk with me, and I'm gonna know that it has been done, because guess what? I've seen what they can do, right? Especially when you're in alignment. Now, when you're not out of alignment, you go into the ancestors, and this is a train coming. So this is how I know. What I'm saying is alignment, okay?
I heard that rumble. I heard that thunderous rumble on my. I thought I was like, "What's happening?" I felt it.
Let me tell you, that's how I know what I'm saying. Okay?
Yeah, the timing, the alignment.
Exactly. So when I got that piece of like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing, right? This don't look like social work. People gonna think that you're crazy. People gonna think that you're doing all this voodoo shit. All the negative things that they say. But then also too, but your life was a reflection of you being in alignment. It's like, I want all of that. I want all of that. I'm gonna enjoy this journey. And guess what? When the curveballs come in, there's probably a lesson that I need to know. But guess what? I got spirit with me. So boom, that means that my ancestors got me. So and if you have to fall off, then you're gonna fall off, because I'm not gonna be out of alignment for man, and for in the agreement of man. Like we talking about some real ancestral, like healing, some pathology, like healing and things like that. And guess what? That's just not the path that I'm on. Christianity is not my path. But also too, I don't throw out the baby with the bathwater. I know for sure that one of my ancestors, my grandmother, she is a devout Christian. We play gospel music for her. Okay, I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna read a scripture. We're gonna go through some psalms. Okay, what you trying to tell me, ancestor? Show me a psalm so I can get this. Exactly. You can't miss your train waiting for others to wake up. But also,
come on, that's a word.
Exactly. So as you see me doing all this crazy, the stuff that you might think crazy, she wearing the leggings and stuff. What is she talking about? But guess what? I want my life to be a reflection of Olodumare's grace and love, and me being in alignment. And guess what? And if you stick around, you're gonna catch some of these blessings too that I'm giving you, because I'm no stingy ass friend. You already know, I'm not a stingy friend. So I've done work for my friends. I will say, I've given so those who have taken my chakra oil and spray classes, and if you haven't, you can go to learnorishahoodoo.com and purchase them. Okay, Stephen and some other of my friends were my first testers, and I was like, okay. Y'all might, think this is a little crazy, but these are chakra oils. And Maurice was like, oh, I know what the chakras are. And you was like, duh. And
tat on my arm. Oh yeah. My sister and my sister, I see my sister in the chat, who is a Christian, but she's also a healer and supplements her Christianity with a lot of alternative ways of worship and healing and getting to that place. But I think my thing is with friendship, if there is something that you don't understand on your friend's journey, why not ask the question? Because if you want to call you're going to call yourself a friend. Like you're telling somebody that we are in the tribe together. I want you to elevate. I want me to elevate. I want us to win together. And you would cut somebody off because they have entered in a spiritual space that you don't understand. If you don't understand something, you ask questions. You learn that as a child. Something don't make sense to you, ask an adult. And so as I get older, I just lose. I think I am losing patience for intolerance. Like I don't have time for that, for people that are not willing to grow or understand or even accept something that could be a blessing for them, because you're so concerned that somebody might be venturing into darkness. How do you know that this is not something that could pull you into light? And I think that is, I don't know, that is where and I'm working on that, because I am I stick to the India REs, the rivers and lakes that I'm used to. But when I get to a point where I'm so frustrated, it's hard to get past there, because I'm like, why are you just not opening your mind? And I think sometimes we have to realize that is work that somebody else has to do. And that is internal work that you can't do for that friend. Mm-hmm. You can only do so much for somebody before they have to do it themselves. And I didn't think about that until 35, but here we are.
But at least you thought of it, in this lifetime, even if it's 75, hey, you get the lesson, right? You might have to go do some things. But another example for me would be like when I started, getting serious about my spirituality and what it is I was supposed to do in life. I realized that certain, people, there were friends that was like, girl, I ain't rocking with that. Okay. But then I realized that for some people, it was like, I'm not even rocking with certain things. For me, as I went through my spiritual evolution, and this is a lifelong pursuit, so it's not like you do one and done. You're always elevating and trying to get to that point of enlightenment. It's a life journey. Okay, so saddle up. Okay, but when I started, getting serious about what it is I was trying to do in life, because I knew this wasn't what I was supposed to do. Certain things, people, back in my day, I used to love to party. Okay. Mel's going to be the life of the party. I'm going to drink. I'm going to have a good time. But when I was invited to parties, I started, being like, well, who going to be there? I'm still on that who going to be there. But usually my circle is so small that I don't have to ask who going to be there. I'm like, okay, what time do I need to be there? Okay. Because I have a, set of, friends. And so certain behaviors that I thought that I used to participate in, it was like, nah, that's not me. That's not, and so, as confrontational as I used to be, I stopped reaching out to people, right? Because also I realized that there was no reciprocity, as we always talk, me and Maurice were big on reciprocity. And so once I stopped, going out and inviting people out, people just trickled away. We didn't have no argument. We didn't have a disagreement. In my mind, it wasn't fuck you. It was like, I just want the energy to be matched. And it was really too, as I started to evolve, I started realizing like how a lot of the friendships were one-sided, and it was a lack of respect that I was allowing with people, so I had set this foundation, and one of them is one of them was my daughter's godmother. She ain't no more, but I had set this foundation of allowing her to treat me a certain way. And then as I started to evolve and be like, nah, this is one-sided. Like, I don't really like this. I'm gonna have a few conversations with you. I'm gonna give you that. But then if I feel like it's still no reciprocity, then you got to, and so I just start phasing you out of, my life. And so like Ia says, everybody can't come. Those who are meant to come, Spirit will make sure that they're there. You understand? Now, I've had disagreement with friends, and we have never had a disagreement. We have never had a disagreement. You probably was like, well, you doing too much right now, Mel, or you shouldn't.
I feel like but I feel like, see, my thing is also you don't have to agree with the friend all the time. I feel like if we might have different perspectives,
but we've never had a disagreement. Now we've had different perspectives, and I was like, we have. And here we are today at 1:26 p.m. August.
Wait, but I wanted to ask. Can I ask you a question? Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when the space is cleared, and when there are friendships that don't stay in your space anymore, like for whatever reason, whether it was the faith or the disagreement, do you allow yourself to mourn that loss, or do you focus on, well, this is an opening for something better to be in there? Like, do you allow yourself to like, oh, we did share this time together. I had this relationship, a sister girl or a brother friend, like that. This was my ace. This was somebody that was really important. Do you give yourself that space to like, let me address the fact that I love this person and I thought they loved me, and we have a different dynamic now before I can process and move on? Or is it more, once it happens, it's like, all right, it's done?
Okay, so this situation where a friend has distanced himself, this is recent because he's a Christian and I practice Ifa. I have been more reflective. I was like, you know what? He was a good friend. He's still a great person, not talking bad, but this is, our friendship has ran its course and, it is what it is. So I was able to be reflective about it. Not even so, my stance is always gonna be like, I don't give a fuck. I mean, you're lost. Like, you know how magnificent I am.
I do.
Thank you, friend. But if we talking about, Mel, before she was Ifa Wami, before she was Ori Dapo, before she was
2007 Mel.
No, we even talking about, let's do when this happened with the young lady. I was mad. I was mad. I was like, forget her, because I feel like, she dumped me, right? But usually if I feel like I am, distancing myself from a person and we're not friends anymore, it's been a long time coming. So I've already grieved it in my mind, and now I'm taking the steps, It's kind of like, when people say, I don't know, I don't have a good relationship, advice, but they say when women leave relationship, like they left mentally already before they physically leave. So I've already like left that friendship mentally, and it was just like,
okay.
But if I'm blindsided and I'm just like, dang, then it's like, I forget you too, Nat. And so, but now that it happened, because this recently happened, I'm just like, what? It is what it is. You're still a wonderful person. I value the friendship that we do have, because we were there, and this is strictly platonic too. But you were there like at the lowest when I needed somebody to help me move my shit out. You were right there in the U-Haul truck. Woof woof. Okay, so
I will be in the group chat because I have additional questions.
Okay, Frank. Okay. You do know the person, but
I know I do. I just need to clarify.
Okay. And so I was very like reflective, and I'm like, okay, but that also comes with, just wisdom, because I know that my goal is always just to be unapologetically me and authentically me, because I felt like so much of my life I couldn't be who I wanted to be. I couldn't be authentically me. And now that I'm like, more in alignment, it's like, oh no, like that's, and I'm going to continue to be unapologetically me, as long as it's approving in the eyes of Olodumare, my ancestors, my Gungun, my Ori, is, I'm speaking of, love and wisdom and things like that. You know how that, so, do you have any more questions for me?
When did you know you wanted to be a leader? Because I don't know if we've ever talked about that, in terms of like, I knew we talked about your spiritual growth and practices and learning a lot more, but I feel like you're stepping into more leadership roles as we move forward. And I'm not trying to claim anything that you don't want to receive, but if you do, it feels like you're stepping into a path to pass on knowledge and help guide people in a different way. And I'm curious if there was a moment when you thought that was what you wanted, or if there was something that happened and experience with someone that was like, oh, I think this is part of my path.
Okay. So So this is like a multi-layered question. I've always been in leadership roles, maybe not at Howard because I was in real survival mode in college, but even like through high school, I was like in ROTC and I was like officer. So I've always been thrown into leadership roles, even at work. Like a manager, I didn't ask for this, but I thank you for the money. I've always, but if we're going to talk about a spiritual aspect, when did I know? I've known for a few years that this is something that I wanted to do. Now I've had fear stop me, but the thing about it is that's why it's so important to have elders and people who have more spiritual wisdom than you, because they can help you align, is what I want to say. I would like to, I'm going to give a shout out to Priestess Oshun Funke. I always say that she's always seen something in me that I didn't see with myself.
Yes, she is a leader. Yes.
Yeah, and so she sees that, and I'm like, me being a leader, like, and so when I was doing my classes, the misconceptions of a priestess, I've always, if I was going to be in a leadership role, especially a spiritual leadership role, I really wanted to be on that straight and narrow path. And I had a vision of what my alignment would look like, right? So that means, not cursing people out, which I shouldn't do, not fighting, which I shouldn't do, not let my anger get the best of me, right? So I had some reservations because I'm like, I'm not perfect. But then it was like, no one's perfect. No one is perfect at all. So I think that she has opened the pathway for me to be able to reflectively look at myself and be like, girl, you are a leader and this is what you're here to do. And are you going to get in motherfucking alignment and face your fears, because you're not supposed to have fear anyway. Okay, you're going to tap into the spirits that walk with you for change, mutation, and courage and things of that sort, or you're just going to sit here and waste your talent, So I honestly, my godmother, when they said, and when she popped up on my screen, I was like, who is this woman?
Wow.
Okay. And let me just tell you, okay. And this is not all for show or for play. Like she is a servant of her community. Okay. Because even when I'm like, I don't even know if this is for me. And she's like, it's not about you. It's about your community and your destiny and what you're supposed to do for your family and loved ones. This ain't about you. This ain't about you at all. And she's had to gather me and humble me and push me to be like, this is what you're supposed to be doing. And she has positioned me to do that. And so, like I said, and not on no fraud shit, not on no predatory shit, on some real, I love you and I see your potential. You are a reflection of me, and this is what you're here to do. So you gonna do it or not? And so I love Ia. So I'm just gonna say that, okay? Priestess Oshun Funke, Yanifa, she is the real deal. So so that's when I'm constantly learning what does that even look like? I thought maybe, I was maybe, be standing outside like the Morris people in the corner, maybe selling my stuff or whatever. I thought maybe that would be how I would be priestess. And so she has shown me what a spiritual leader, there's different routes of it, there's different routes to being a healer. It's not one dimensional. It's not like, oh, you have to do this. Me, like I said, going back, I was thinking like being a healer, because even in my mental health social work job, I hated it, but I did really well in it. And so I was able to be in positions of leadership to be able to, and I'm like, child, this ain't for me, child. I was becoming an alcoholic. I was going to the bar every day. Okay. Every day. So, and I'm still figuring that out. And I'm like, I will say this is a life journey. It's not a race. So I'm enjoying the journey. And I also want to say shout out to you too, because I did the unboxing as well. So All right, so Steven's sister is an actress, and she was doing a play in New Orleans. Steven went to New Orleans, and his sister Lorena was like, "You need to go to House of Voodoo." So, am I saying it right? House of Voodoo?
House of Hoodoo.
Hoodoo.
House
Hoodoo.
of Hoodoo. Hoodoo.
Hoodoo. All right, House of Hoodoo, because Mel and Maurice would love this stuff, right? So I come home and I get a box, and you got me all of these beautiful things. I'm not gonna say it right now because I did the unboxing video, and so even though you do not practice, like how I do African traditional religion, you're not in Ifa. You really don't even know really what it is. You don't practice hoodoo, you do in your type of way, but you were able to buy me things and surprise me. And it's things that I need because you'll see when I unbox it, y'all, when I post a video. And so it's so good to have friends. And this is why I want to say it's so good to have friends that will grow with you in your evolution, that will listen to your rants about spirit, what spirit says. And, that's why I love friends, because I'm like, maybe spirit is trying to tell you. And they're like, this is not what I asked right now. You guys are just so open and then going out of your way and buying me things that I would need spiritually. I could always have these things spiritually, and that you care so much about my spiritual growth and evolution and things that I'm doing spiritually, that you would take the time to buy me things that I love. And I love you.
It's the light you attract. I think when you are in alignment in friendship, you can tap into what your friends need. Like you've given me words that you probably don't even. I remember the first time you said, "I don't believe in long suffering." When I tell you I carry that with me every day, whoo! I'm not gonna cry on here, but I'm saying that has taken me out of spaces where I didn't belong. So many of your words, so many of the things that we have, even if just laughs we've shared, just the time, that is what friendship is. I think it is the family that we choose to be a part of. It's like the tribes that we establish outside of the one that God gave us where we were born. And I think, I don't know, I feel like we're very lucky to have kept this gift so long, and I'm very grateful for you.
It is. This is a beautiful gift. This is. And then you always say comparison is a thief of joy.
Aha, it is.
When I be in my group chats, like, well, why hating on people? Well, how she get a man? How she got it? And then you go to the bed, and I'll be like, let me, man, I just like, it's you be mad about somebody having a man, but then find out it'd be a man on a motorcycle with a leather vest on in 85-degree weather, 100-degree weather.
No.
Okay,
that's so a leather vest.
Okay, no. So you also told me that comparison is a thief of joy, and what Olodumare has for me, what my destiny is my destiny. Can't nobody take shit from me, because if you take it, if you think you took it, it wasn't meant for me to have it anyway. Okay, It was just a temporary thing. So, okay. Does anyone have any questions? Any questions for myself or for Mr. S. Chesley? That's what my sister called you, right? Like, oh, so you're doing a video with S. Chesley?
Did she think that was, no, because when I FaceTime her outside your house one day, she was like, "Is this S. Chesley?" I was like, "Oh, yeah." I was like, she might not even know my government name by now.
Oh, she know it's Steven. She gotta know. She gotta know. Hopefully this is all right. Any questions for anyone? And I just want to say, for those that are like, you know what your destiny is, and you're scared to take it because you think that you might lose friends, they weren't meant to stay. They were not meant to stay. If you think that your family's going to judge you, okay, we break in generational pathology, so we got to go. We got to go. Okay. Let them be mad. Okay. Okay. But I'm pretty sure when they see you healing and doing all the stuff, they're going to be coming to you after church service out of there and gave the pastor all their money stuff and be like, can you do free work for me? You got to pay me now, sis. Well, I gave it all to the pastor. Go get it back. Okay, I need my money. Okay, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Okay, you always gonna help those in need. Divine first, okay? Because if you do a divination and your ancestors be like, "Don't help Aunt Sally Mae," and then you don't help Aunt Sally Mae. But those who are like, really, even in your practice, if we're just gonna let's just not talk about this being in your destiny, just like practice and having a spiritual foundation. It is so important to have a spiritual foundation. Let me tell you, and especially when you tap in, you would avoid. So I'm glad that I've never had friends that spin around foolishness and fuckery and things like that, and low vibrational things like busting people windows. I was the one busting the windows, but I'm glad that my friends would never like that, or just that real ratchet hood baby stuff. I'm glad I wasn't aligned with that. But as you start really getting a spiritual foundation, especially if you're doing ATR, if you're doing any type of ancestral veneration, and that is not what you come from, people may not identify with you. You're gonna have to make a decision. You're gonna have to make a decision, and it's kind of for real. It's like the red pill, blue pill type of thing. Like you have to be real and consistent. You can't just be like, feeding your ancestors and stuff and be like, well, now I got to stop or whatever, like, because I'm scared of what people are going to say. So people who are confused in their own healing and evolution are too busy kicking their own butts to have the time and energy to judge others. And that's an amen and ashe. Yeah. Judgment is a function of delusional minds. Yeah. That is true. That is really true. But when you start being in alignment, I'm a real component of Ori. I love Ori. Okay. When you really start to tap into your higher consciousness, your Ori is gonna tell you it's that gut. When it's like, nah, that's not a friend, or you know what, let them go. Let them go, because sometimes your friends could drag you down to the pits of hell too. And because you were innocent bystander, you know what I'm saying? And then also too, because I know we've been on here for over an hour, but also too, as a practitioner, learning when this is why divination is key. If you are a healer practitioner and you have I do feel, if spirit aligns and you have a friend that is in need, you have that, you should do it. You have that obligation to do it, right? Now that doesn't mean you have to deplete yourself. You have to pour from you're pouring from an empty cup because you're trying to save someone who don't want to be saved. I'm also too a component of, if she don't want to be saved, don't save her. She don't want to be saved, And so I have learned as a practitioner that sometimes to save yourself and your spiritual foundation and all the things that you work for, you might have to do a moonwalk out of there. Okay, you have to, and always continue to pray for that person. But some people are so dysfunctional and so on a path of chaos and destruction that this not even your fight, and this is and they have to learn the lesson. You still want to continue to, if you get approval, you can do some sympathetic magic. If y'all don't know what sympathetic magic is, y'all should probably do my Cornhusk dolls. You can do that's a way that you can do sympathetic magic. You understand? If your friend is in dire need, they're on a path of destruction, and spirits like, you are the one, you are supposed to help them. Don't turn a blind eye. This is what you're supposed to do. You do a divination. Spirit says you put their ass in make the Cornhusk doll of them. You can take one of their belongings or something. If you know how to do it, you know how to do it. This ain't a class, but but sometimes too, as a healer, you gotta know that sometimes you can't save them. You're gonna continue to still pray for them for the healing and transmutation, but sometimes it's above me. It's above me now. So don't go get out of alignment and go on a path of destruction, because you are trying to save everyone. Sometimes it's their lesson that they have to go through, And you can't be like, well, I'm Princess Almost Shule, and I see, my friend, he's really having a hard time, and not he needs there's some self-destruction going on that he's doing, or they're doing, or she's doing. And guess what? They're gonna have to just do that on their own with their spiritual team, you know. But so don't don't drain your power. Stand tall into your power. If you feel that you are going on this spiritual journey and it feels lonely, guess what? I know within the coven there's like people join the coven. Okay, if somebody can drop the Discord in there. This is a community, a safe community where you could be like, you know what? I don't have no friends where I'm at. I live in Iowa. I hope nobody lives in Iowa over here. Ain't no shade, but that's just like the first thing that popped into my mind. No one does ATR. Child, I can't even go to the store and get palm oil over there. I got Amazon and everything. And then guess what? You can join the Discord. We do in-person events. So because this is a community organized, this is a community, okay? And so you don't have to feel like you're doing this by yourself, because there are people that's going to drop. There are people that is how it's going to design. But those who stand the test of time, I feel like I always say, let my blessings be the blessings of my family, friends, and community. And so as I am elevating, I hope that, I'm going to bring y'all for the ride. Okay? Yes.
We riding.
Yeah, so yes, definitely if you're feeling like, you're doing this new spiritual path, and you're a part of a certain religion, even though, we always talk about Christianity, Islam, Judaism, all of that, my daughter's father is he picked when he want to be Muslim, okay? And so, he a hotep, so he pick and choose. So I know he is one of those people that's like, that is totally against Ifa. I had to explain it to him. He says I'm doing witchcraft, but guess what? Watch how your daughter's life elevate. Okay, yeah. If you want your ancestors to stay dusty and stuff over there, then they can stay dusty. Okay.
Not dusty, no.
Okay.
We speak against the dust.
Okay. If you want to live the life of poverty and stuff, we elevating over here. Okay. And if I'm going up, my ancestors going up as well. We elevating. Okay. So he's like, what you doing? Witchcraft? Why is the Bible talking about the ancestors? You don't want her to say your mama name? You don't want them to say your grandmama name? I mean, if you want them to continue to be ghosts, then let them stay ghosts, okay? But we're going to speak names up in here, okay?
Period.
Marion Austin, okay? So that's something I have to go through too. But as he sees that my daughter's life is elevating, right? And there's certain pathologies I know on his side are being broke. It's not showing up in her. He gonna give me my thank you. He gonna give my thank you, and he gonna be crying so much. He's just gonna be like, can't believe it. Okay. Don't sleep on it. Okay. So yes, please, for those who are thinking about, really just, even if you want to dip your toe, because honestly, I'm gonna say, if y'all watching this on the Risha Hoodoo Institute Witchcraft for Black Americans, which I see in this group ain't really what's going on, like in the Discord. Really, you can really expand your craft. You can, if you need dream interpretations, divination practices, all of that, and then once you do if you want to do traditional mentorship, okay, that's going to up the ante. Okay. So this ain't for play, at least not for me. So, if anybody, no questions at all. Did you have any questions, Stephen? Did you have any closing remarks? And also, too, thank you so much for joining me, because you are on the West Coast. So it was 9:30.
No, thank you. I'm glad you said the earlier the better. That was motivation. I got out. I got my black ass out there. I did a hike this morning.
You did? I'm about to go
I
hiking.
warmed up.
Oh,
Yes.
I'm about
No.
to go hiking and all my white too. I'm about to go
I
hiking.
felt the sun on my. I'm like, I got my sister. Every time I'm in the, she's like, "Oh, you got your cherry wood rocking." So I'm like, "Yes, I'm feeling like a black king."
Okay, Black King.
I was out there in the elevation. I was getting my cardio. I feel
No,
good.
you know what? Those hikes in LA are different. Okay. I wish, okay, first of all, I can't wait for this trip to LA because we really gonna do it. Like so for those that I went to LA and Stephen, thank you so much for scheduling me in because I know that it was like real last minute and I'm like, hey, I'm coming to LA. You available on Sunday?
Bet.
And you made time for me. But really when we do LA, it has to be just us. I'm coming for you, of course Maurice as well. But hiking in LA, that elevation, I was like, ooh, they don't have this in Washington Park.
Look, I'm from the DMV. I think that would be somebody that was just like, let me just go walk around for fun. But I don't know. I moved like just out in the woods. But I don't know. I moved out here to elevate you with the trees passing you, and as you get up there and you can see the mountains, I don't know, you can think clearly and you see the sky, you see the gift that we have as life, and I don't know, it just puts things in perspective.
Yes. Let me tell you, I love going out there. Okay. Gerard was probably like, yeah, you always crafting spells and stuff. And they're always out in the woods. Let me tell you, if I can hike, okay, if I can get out the house, I'm gonna get out the house, and it could be 100-degree weather. Okay, the devil could be up right, walking right beside me. Okay, it hot. Okay, but I'm gonna be outside in nature, in the woods because I love nature. And if you know why I'm in the woods, and you know why I'm in the woods, okay. Mm-hmm. So I like to spend a lot of my time out there, and so thank you so much for and you got a hike in too. What time did you go hiking?
I got there like 7:30, maybe.
That ain't my thing. I'm a hike, but I ain't gonna try to go to.
Well, I wanted to get my workout in and then shower before I got on camera. I didn't want to be out here looking dusty.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Please don't come on no live with me looking dusty, okay?
We tried. We did our best.
Ian gonna be like, who is this boy on the screen? Get him off right now.
I mean, you can't tell that the hair is still wet. It ain't fully dry. I'm just saying, but it's clean.
Let me tell you, okay? Okay, I actually
just your skin is looking good too, friend.
So let me tell you something. When you're in alignment, everything else should be in alignment. Okay, you ain't gotta try. Be like, let me go outside. Okay, let me just drink my tea and give more self-love. That's self-love.
Yes, more self-love.
That's what I'm talking about. All 2023. Okay.
Oh, the rest 2020. No, thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, we need to do one with Maurice as well. We need the third of the Three Stooges on here.
Yes,
and, giving me your perspective because I know that I know you were always talking about your mom singing, but you don't really talk too much about Catholicism and stuff. But maybe just because
anytime, any questions, it was an interesting experience.
Yeah, and so I learned something here. I knew you for 17 years, and I didn't even know that you was. I thought your mom was just started practicing. See, look at my so I thought your mom just converted after you went to college or something.
No.
Okay, I didn't know.
No, I was confirmed in everything, child. I went through the whole thing.
Really?
Sunday school, all of it. Mm-hmm.
Did y'all have vacation Bible school? Did they have that?
I never did. I heard of that. I never did that. I went to.
I know a Baptist church gonna have a vacation Bible school. Okay.
Yeah. Now, yeah.
You gonna learn.
I will. This. You know what? This is another live, but because I think there are so many beautiful things in the Bible that you often don't get exposed to in the Catholic Church. They pick and choose a lot of what is put out there, and that is just my perspective. I can't speak for anybody else. I will leave that there. But yes, I think there are some beautiful things in the book.
That is very true. But I also feel that as you get older, it's your responsibility to read for yourself. As So if you are, preaching, but you only gonna preach one scripture, now don't give me going on scriptures, okay? Because I don't memorize scriptures. But and I never could, okay. At Bible study, they're like, everybody got their scriptures out. I'm like, oh, the Lord said.
I'm trying to get through. I want to get through like from start to finish in like a more discussion based. Like I don't want a Bible study where somebody's telling me what this means. We can have a conversation about what we think this means and lean into the spirit of discernment to understand what is divine and what is a word of man, because those are two different things. And I feel like we be conflating them a lot in certain churches and certain practices.
I don't know if does Priestess Peach Blossom still do Bible study. I don't know, but someone can answer that in the chat. I know they used to have a Bible study. But even when I did Queen Esther, we had to we had to learn Bible scriptures, okay?
Yeah.
Let me not even say this on live, but I have forgotten a lot of stuff, okay? And I've always, wanted I did and then there's also decoding scripture too. Yeah, so I don't know, maybe you should bring that back up, decoding scriptures. But it's your responsibility you're going to have to read. People are going to leave things out to justify their behavior. My daughter father say all the time, God told Abraham, spread your seed like the sand on the beach. But what else does the Bible say about taking care of your children, not having children, So, Oshun Kamimbi is doing Bible classes. I'm sorry, Oshun Kamimbi. That is right. Okay. All right. If you ever interested in that, Stephen, I'll give you more information about that. But
I got my notes open. I'm about to write this down.
Oh, you do? You see it? Oh, good. Okay. Yeah, so I know that could be something that you're interested in. Oshun Kamimbi, she know her scriptures too. Okay. So don't come in here and just be saying one scripture talking about Jesus wept. And first John chapter 5. I don't know what is First John chapter.
See, my windows here I can't do when Maurice gets in there and does like Jesus
oh my God,
put his arms out. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh. Oh, please don't, because this will be on YouTube and they be like, look at what they saying about Christ. We don't want no
problem. Look, my God knows I love. My God knows I love. I don't have time for any other interpretation than love.
Oh, okay. We always lead in love. Now we lead in love. Now if it isn't something else, then it was divinely guided to lead that way. Let me stop. I'm playing. But thank you.
You are a fool.
I'm gonna have an editor edit this out, but y'all know how I do. But also to always lead with love. And that's for real. Always lead with love, because sometimes it's not even about you. Sometimes, someone's car got stolen and crashed their car into your car, and then so
Amen and Ashe.
Amen and Ashe. So that is our live. For those who are interested, I am doing a live tomorrow as well, preparing your loved ones for the school year. I believe the academic school year started in the South already. Yeah, I've seen I know my cousins posted a few pictures, and they in Georgia. So y'all started in Georgia, South Carolina, Georgia, Florida, the South. So we will talk about that. You want to make sure your babies are prayed up. I don't know if y'all know, the schoolhouse is a war. It is a war where kids come with things in their backpack, bullies, parents out of control. Just, so we want to start the school year off right. You want to protect your baby. It started now.
Lord have mercy. It is not even September.
Oh, really? Jesus Christ. Well, my daughter go back at the end of the school year, and I was like, but in New York, we go after Labor Day. Okay, we go back in September. I don't know. This is many moons ago, but you want your babies to be protected. I don't know about y'all, but I don't play by mine, and I'd rather be proactive instead of reactive. That is something that I'm learning. So I'm just going to give you some tips on ways that you can protect your babies in this world. Um, and yes, come. It's tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Oh, yes. Uh, what is your love offerings, Stephen? Can you put your you have a Cash App, don't you?
I do.
Can you put yours? I'm gonna change my Cash App name right now. Okay. This is a part of me trying to be authentically and unapologetically me with my Cash App name. But if you can you put yours down there?
It won't let me chat, but receive all the blessings. This is you have created this beautiful space.
I'm
Bless
changing.
her with all the love offerings, please.
Oh, links to tomorrow class. Does somebody have the link to tomorrow class? Can somebody post that? Hold on. Because I can't post it from my computer. Does somebody have a link to tomorrow's class that can drop it? No. Well, it's going to be a link to tomorrow's class. It's going to be like a Facebook Live. I'm going to do it because it's a free class. So I'll just do it as a Facebook Live. Is that okay? There is a link, a Zoom link. But if I could do it on Facebook Live, that's fine. Do you want to say some closing prayers while I change my Cash App name real fast, Stephen?
Sure.
Praise your wisdom like you always do.
Girl, no, I would claim on top of the school year that the children, I would claim that there is a peaceful walk into this new season for all the parents and teachers as well, so that they may guide these children in health and wisdom and love and education, and that they are blessed with the tools that they need, and that those tools in turn educate us all, and that we move forward and elevate as a community and a global planet of creatures that I think are just trying to do our best.
Amen, I should, because we are trying to do our best out here.
Yeah.
And we're also going to talk about ways that can help academically as well.
Abijah's not back. She's not in school.
No, she leaves, and I mean she starts in the 29th. Okay, y'all.
Before September.
So I cannot change my Cash App. So maybe this is just divine intervention. I'm going to work on changing it, but I just tried it a few times. It did not let me.
Do you want me to pull it up and show it on the screen? Pull yours up and show it on the camera?
No, I'm about to put it right here.
Okay.
Please don't judge me. Sorry. I did try to change it a few times and it wouldn't change. So is this what they're saying?
I kind of love it, but your journey is your journey.
My journey is my journey. Look, don't judge me. Do as I. But look, y'all see me walking in alignment. Okay. If you're feeling like blessing me, you can go ahead and do my Cash App $, the whole word FU, pay me 917. I don't know if you can see that on Facebook, but that is my Cash App. Oh, can't see it? How do you do it on Facebook? Can you post it?
I'm only in StreamYard.
I'm in StreamYard as well.
Oh, hold up. Let me check. I have two windows because I'm at my work computer.
Oh,
wait. I don't know where the live is on Facebook.
Oh, I'm here. Hold on.
I'm in StreamYard as well. Oh, hold up. Let me check. I have two windows because I'm at my work computer. Oh.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, Ia. Thank you, guys. So thank you for blessing us with this beautiful word, Stephen.
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Thank you for blessing us. Please, if you would like to know what's going on with Orisha Hoodoo Institute, go to learn orishahoodoo.com or orishahoodoo.com. Please join our Discord if you are really taking this serious. We have opportunities for it. And let me just tell you, this ain't no, like, I'm not trying to plug this. I am plugging it in, but like, first of all, I don't lie. I try to be as honest as possible. So this is a place where you are with like-minded individuals throughout all different walks of life, different places of the country, different places of the world, right? That are all here to learn about ancestral veneration and elevation. So if you really want to take this serious, join our Discord. Um, Join a traditional mentorship. Let me tell you, and if this is where you're supposed to be, especially with the traditional mentorship, the ancestors will provide. The ancestors ain't gonna tell you out here to be spiritually elevating, knowing that things cost, and then you be broken, destitute. Like spirit come through every time, and then sometimes they circle the block to be like, "You good?" I'm like, "I'm good, thank you." So make sure you really join our Discord. For those that are watching on YouTube, please follow me, follow Priestess Oshun Funke as well. Also, for those that are on Facebook, if you have a Facebook, go to join our group, Orisha Hoodoo Institute Witchcraft for Black Americans. Until next time, which is tomorrow, y'all stay blessed, stay safe. Go outside. If you can go outside, go outside. Get in touch with nature. Ground yourself. Stop sitting up in a stuffy house. Okay, go outside. And I am Priestess Omo Shule. And like I always say, pray with me. Don't play with me. Bye.